And then there's protective boundaries. There's the realm of protective boundaries, and we're going to talk about a list of those. Protective boundaries, again, they're the lines to preserve the unity of the family, the property of the family, and create safety. You are safe here, and you will not be exploited or abused here. So the property value boundaries include financial. You have a right to have financial boundaries. You have a right, and by having these, you don't have problems later on in the relationship. If you verbalize and establish your mode of giving money, you don't have to go back and readjust it and offend someone and cause an estrangement. You get to start out with, my money is my money, and I share it with whom I want it to. I don't owe anyone anything. Even if you took care of me when I was young, I choose to give to you. You were supposed to. If you're a parent, you're supposed to take care of me. And I show my appreciation by blessing you with my resources later. But God doesn't even make us give him finances. So your finances belong to you, and you get to decide how you choose to share them. I think that's beautiful. I think that makes that giving more beautiful, because when someone gives to you, that's their expression of, it's mine, but I decided to share with you in opposition to, you owe me and I'm entitled. And that's what happens with the unrealistic expectations and the breakdowns, because you feel like, your money is my money. You're going to buy me this, right? We're at the eating place. You're going to pay for this, right? It's, we're at the store. You're going to buy this, right? You got paid today. I have a bill. You're going to give me the money, right? And that causes a lot of disruption and breakdown, and builds resentment that breaks the relationship. Your finances, you have a right to decide what to do with your finances. You have the right. It is your money, your choice. And then there's spiritual boundaries. This kind of goes back up with your defining boundaries. Where you go to church, that's your business. Who your pastor is, that's your business. You get to decide that. And even if you don't go to church, for those of you who are not believers, if you want to be a non-church goer, that is still your choice, because God doesn't make you go to church. So allowing people the freedom to choose their spiritual route is what God does. Yes, when they're children, we don't give them that much choice. We lead them in the way that they should go, and then we expose them to truth, and then they get to decide. But spirituality is a boundary. If people don't want God, and if they don't believe what you believe, you don't get to pour your religion on them, because God is not pouring his word on us. So we share it, and if people don't want it, we accept it. It's their choice. It's a boundary. Intellectual boundary. What people think, their ideas. We don't have permission to say that was stupid, or why do you think that? That's a dumb thought, or that's a dumb question. That's an assault on somebody's intellectual property. And we want to be respectful and set that boundary. We don't have permission to judge people's ideas, even if we disagree with them. Now, if it's against the word of God, there's a respectful way even to say God's word says this, or that's not true, or there's fact. But to criticize and to attack and to judge in a negative way, that's not helpful, and it's a violation of their intellectual property. People get to set boundaries around their time. Time is more greater than money. You can buy things, but you can't buy time. Time is the most precious commodity. And although we waste it a lot, that's a personal choice to waste it. If I waste my time, it doesn't give you permission to waste my time. And many times in families, we feel like we share everything, and your time is my time. I need you to do this now. I need you to come over and help me with this. I need you to watch the kids. I need you to give your time indiscriminately, because we're family and we love each other. That's not correct. Your time, even talking on the telephone, even answering a text, your time is yours, and you get to decide how you respond, or if you respond, and when you respond, and how long you respond, without being guilted by family into staying longer than you need to stay, Or if you're tired and you need time to rest and you're being asked to come anyways, that's a violation of your time of rest. And you get to set that boundary, because that violation will build up. And I'm telling you, the fault lines, the emotional plates begin to shift until one day, boom, there's estrangement. Boom, just like that, estrangement, because there's just so much undercurrent. Your time is valuable. You get to be very owning of your time, and you get to decide who gets it and who you're going to give your time to and what you're going to give your time to. And when people are showing up at events, you just need to thank them for their time. If they give 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour, just their time, instead of being entitled and say you were supposed to come, I appreciate your time. I appreciate the effort that you made to drive here. Not just, oh, family is family and you have to. No, it's choice. Boundaries create choice, and it respects choice. So your time is valuable, and you get to set limits on it. And with that, your talent. Yes, your talent. You know, they have movies that show like people want to, they want the discount, or they say, can you hook me up? And they don't want to pay for things, but you get to set a boundary around your talent, which causes people to expect that, oh, I thought I was going to get this free because we're family. I can remember when my sister used to do my hair, she would just say a love offering. If we could remember that, she never charged me, but she appreciated a love offering. So you should be willing to pay the price or a percentage, and not expect that the talent of your family member belongs to you. Yes, they can choose to give it to you free as they choose, or they could choose to give you a discount, or you could choose to give them full price and a tip. But it's not to be taken advantage of that your talent is mine. Oh, we have somebody who does hair. We have someone who cooks. We have someone who takes pictures. We have someone who works on cars. No, we still have to respectfully know that's their talent, and we get to ask if they'll help us, and then they get to let us know what the cost is going to be and if they'll be able to give their time and their talent. Of course, there's sexual boundaries need to be created, and it's never negotiated within a family. Sex is out for family members, even though people are dysfunctional sometimes and they have a history of inappropriate behavior. It's not appropriate. And so we always get to draw the line, and we get to send clear messages that it's not appropriate. And even though sometimes, kids explore and innocently or so they explore, it still needs to be verbalized and communicated that your body belongs to you. No one has permission to touch you. I don't care if you're father, pastor, whoever, you don't have permission to, because you're a family member. It's not carte blanche and you just get to do whatever you want because we're family. We're keeping it in the family. No, we're keeping it out of the family with strict boundaries. We don't put everyone in the tub together. We don't make people undress in front of us. We give people their privacy in the bathroom. My grandson, when he started potty training, he said, I need my privacy. And he does. You're teaching respect of your body, and everyone has a right to have respect for their body and their sexual parts. So we talked about the different type of boundaries, and we talked about the importance of enforcing those boundaries. And people sometimes stray away from enforcing those boundaries because they themselves communicate the yes as love. And they communicate the no as not loving and as unkind, but no is a loving, kind word. When you say no, you're saying yes to something else. You're saying yes to respect. You're saying yes to energy. You're saying yes to financial freedom. You're saying yes to respect. You're saying yes to choice and options. And so you have to look at how you learned about boundaries throughout your family, and you have to begin to make a commitment to to shift the paradigm on boundaries. I'm not being punitive. I'm not being callous or cold, but I'm modeling appropriate individuality. Because remember, we are connected in this system, this ecosystem of family and love. But within this unit of love are individuals with different choices and different ideas, different needs. And we need to be able to respect that. We have to look at the messages. Were we made to believe that it is a bad word? And we don't want people to tell us no, so we don't say no. So we think that by saying yes, someone's going to reciprocate that yes. We have to be willing to show one another where we begin and end, because then what happens is when you're exploited or when you come to the end of your rope, then you're upset because you never clarified what you needed and what you wanted. If there is abuse in family systems and you never teach children to choose or their personal space or their personal property, they grow up and it becomes a system where there's just no order. For example, if you have a child, you can teach boundaries within a family this way. If someone comes to your house and before they get there, you know you're having an event, you tell your children, okay, do you want people in your room or not? Decide before it happens. And then if they try to switch up, you can be flexible or you can say no. But after they decide the boundary, okay, the room's off limit. If they decide the room, then the next step is, what are you willing to share? What's on the table? And then you can take the property and the dolls or the toys that are more expensive or more important to the child and pack them away. You're teaching your child that they do not have to share everything. And so when they're exposed to someone who has boundaries, they'll understand it. Boundaries are